But first up, a bad deal today would mean a bigger war tomorrow. And that's the subject of the riff. Now, look, as a strong supporter of our great military's Operation Epic Fury and someone who has great faith in President Trump and his judgment, I do feel obliged to weigh in on the fact that any deal cobbled together too quickly runs the risk of making the next Iranian conflict even more likely, not less. I'm worried that a poor deal today could mean a bigger war tomorrow. When I sat down with President Trump for our interview about 8 weeks ago, I raised the concern that no one can believe anything Iran ever says. And as a former Reagan guy, I'm always acutely sensitive to the Gipper's phrase, trust but verify. Over the past 5 decades, numerous American presidents have made deals with Iran that were never verified. International nuclear and atomic authorities have never been able to verify Iranian promises or activities. And of course, as President Trump has said, the whole issue has boiled over with Iran's shockingly imminent nuclear threat with enriched uranium that is greater than anyone thought, and with ICBM missile capabilities that are longer than anyone thought. And once again, Iran is bottling up the Strait of Hormuz in an attempt for worldwide economic blackmail. There's so much that we don't know yet regarding discussions that are mostly indirect, and even now, it seems that Iran has cut off any communication with the United States. But just looking at the positions of the two sides, Iran wants an end to conflicts in the region. They want a protocol for safe passage through the Hormuz Strait. They want reparations and reconstruction and lifting sanctions on them. That's their position. Mr. Trump's key points have been a complete end to all nuclear capabilities and facilities, no uranium enrichment on Iranian soil, hand over Iran's stockpile of enriched uranium to the International Atomic Energy Agency, completely decommissioning and dismantling of their nuclear sites at Fordo, Isfahan, and Natanz, plus a complete end to their state sponsorship of terrorism and an end to supporting proxy terrorist groups, a dismantling of their ballistic missile programs, and reopening the Strait of Hormuz. In other words, the two sides remain monumentally far apart as far as we know. So a deal looks to be impossible. Now, here's a few very recent quotes from President Trump that suggests there is no deal coming.
Does that meet your demands, Mr. President? Are you willing to continue the war?
Well, you have to watch.
It's
an easy question. The answer is yes, but you'll have to watch. The entire country can be taken out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night. We have a plan, because of the power of our military, where every bridge in Iran will be decimated by 12 o'clock tomorrow night, where every power plant in Iran will be out of business, burning, exploding, and never to be used again. I mean, complete demolition by 12 o'clock.
All right, there you have it. Meanwhile, any talk of ceasefires or deal extensions should be rejected. This is Iran's game. They've been playing it for decades. They love to string things along. They are experts at playing their adversaries. They love to stall, to postpone, to argue over location or who is invited to the high table. They've been doing this for so long, and I hope President Trump doesn't let them get away with it any longer. I doubt that he will, because he's a man of action and instinct. He knows that letting Iran play these games with him, he'll lose international respect. He knows that if he ever walked away without reopening Hormuz, it would make him look weak. And he is never weak, ever. He is always transparently a man of his word. In all likelihood, a few ticks of the clock after 8 p.m. Eastern Time tonight will be met by the final war push by the United States military and presumably Israel. Mr. Trump knows that at this moment, he can change history. He can end all of Iran's capabilities, be they nuclear, terrorists, missiles, Hormuz, all of it. He can bring freedom and prosperity to the Middle East and the rest of the world. He can end a scourge of civilization. He can also become one of the greatest presidents in American history. And that's the riff